Get back, baby. No, we did call that though. We
We did.
thought it would be a sit and steer back in the garden, but it all to play for in Game 6.
Yeah, that's it. The game in 2 days' time will be the tester.
Absolutely. But welcome,
But
folks.
that's
Episode
not why we're here.
episode 9, and we're finally doing not. Well, we are doing a sport pod, but we're not doing our wrap up or anything. No one wants to fucking listen.
Nah, so this one will probably be a lot funner and easier to do because it won't be as, what would you say, scripted in a way, reading off results.
Yeah, we can sort of go with the flow a little bit as to what we think. Today's topic is going to be the last 25 AFL number 1 draft picks and our opinion on their career, and if we were that club, would we re-pick them?
Yes.
So we're going to go from the year 2000.
Could I just quickly put in some, not breaking news, probably 30 minutes ago.
Yep.
This is off topic, just because we're such great sports analysts.
Yep.
Lockie Galvin got his early release from the Tigers, and looks like he'll be going straight to the Doggies.
So from what you called yesterday, which
Yeah.
you're like, oh, my sources tell me to bang, early release is going.
Yeah, so I thought I'd put that in there. Lockie Galvin's got his release, and
Yep.
either late tonight or probably tomorrow, you'll see probably something he's with the Dogs. But
That's crazy.
back into our
All right, so
list.
we're starting from the year 2000.
Year
Now-
2000.
The only thing we don't have, which we probably should have, was maybe who was sort of pick 2, 3, 4, 5. Just so then you could be like, yep, all right, yes, I would pick them again. So we're solely just going off the career that they had, knowing the
good thing
career that
is-
they had, our eye test, then
They're all
would
big
we pick
names
them
we
again?
watched.
yeah,
As
all
well. So
of
it's
these
not us
players we've seen and played
looking
plenty
back.
of footy.
Actually, so it's probably smart we start from 2000.
Yeah, I think so. So 2000 pick 1, St Kilda. They got a priority pick because they were struggling. They got Nick Rewalt. 336 games, 718 goals, 541 coaches' votes, and 153 Brownlow votes in his career. He was a 5-time All-Australian. He won the Rising Star that year. He is a 5 times... Oh, he's at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-time best and fairest with the Saints. And he made the All-Australian 40-man squad 3 more times on top of already his 5 other selections. What a
You
fucking gun.
might as well throw in a 3-time grand finalist.
Yeah.
That includes the draw. I know people don't rate those things as achievements, but I think if you make it, that's a big deal. Like, you had the opportunity to. You just weren't at your best on that day.
Well, that Collingwood side was unbelievable. And if it wasn't for literally one of the greatest... Now, I know they didn't win in a row or anything, but those Cat sides, they were a dynasty then as well. And
Well,
they
that
had
Cat side continued until like
20
2012.
Well-
I know they won 11, but they were in prelims. Like,
They were in prelims after that as well, so they probably got a bit unlucky with Saints fans, but they were good teams with like Kaczynski and Goddard and Lenny Hayes. I loved Lee Montagna. They were fucking... Schneider. I remember Schneider. And who was the ruckman? Gardner, when he kicks that goal.
Oh yeah, puts his tongue out. Ugly,
Yeah,
isn't it?
scary fucking man. I'd cross the road if I saw that man.
Well, it's a good start. That's a pick one that you definitely go for.
I would
Broad.
100% wholeheartedly pick that man again, knowing
Yeah,
the career that he had. He took Mark of the Year that year when he fucking flew back in the contest against Sydney.
Legs taken out. He's probably. I know I reckon he's. Oh, would you say the second greatest Saint? Maybe the third, because I know
Ooh.
there's Harvey
And
I know
so you've
there's
got
a
Robert
bloke-
Harvey, you've got
there's a-
Spud Frawley.
There's a bloke from the older days. I think that won Brownlows for them as well.
Yeah. So he'd have to be top five Saint of all time, surely.
But he'd probably be, yeah, second or first greatest in the AFL era.
Yeah, I think what we should do once we've listed them from 2000 onwards, we should pick our top three number one picks.
All right, I
I'd
like
probably,
that.
I might jump the gun. I might say that this guy was probably my number one pick. From Colac and the Geelong under 18s, Hawthorn selected Luke Hodge in the Super 2001 draft. Some deem that as the greatest draft of all time. Plenty of absolute guns if you look through that list in that draft. But 346 games, 194 goals. He's got 591 coaches' votes and 131 Brownlow votes. He is now. Some of this did shock me a little bit, but he's a three-time All Australian, only a two-time Best and Fairest. He won two Norm Smiths though in 2008 and 14. Made the All Australian 40-man squad two more times in 2007 and 13. But obviously a four-time premiership player and a three-time as a captain went back to back to back. So Luke Hodge, just the general, could put him anywhere. I reckon he's a harder
Yeah,
version of Dawson,
yeah,
like
definitely
as in
is.
harder in the contest. But like he was on ball. He was centre half back, centre half forward. He could fucking play anywhere.
He's probably one of the greatest leaders that have ever played in the AFL. I reckon there's a highlight. I don't know what grand final it is, but it's when Isaac Smith kicks this massive goal from 50 and he's celebrating, arms up in the air. And apparently Hodgie goes up to him and says, "Alright, stop fucking celebrating. The game's not over."
That was against
Just that,
Sydney, I think.
that Kobe mentality, just, hey mate, good on the goal, but
Not fucking done yet.
the job's not done. Plus, like we spoke about last night, what he started the culture at Brisbane, changed all that and got him in their winning ways. Now he's one of the greatest highlights I reckon from him is against West Coast in the 2015 grand final when he just gets this hand pass in the pocket, and just
On
one
the
step
boundary.
snaps it, and just like holy shit.
Yep. Yep. And just used to torch my Bombers, but he's just some of his handballing was elite. Used to put people into space all the time.
His
Um,
45s are good too. He could
yeah,
hit a 45.
like just fucking lasered the footy. One of the easiest sort of kicks, like never overkicked the footy. Just a smooth operator, just a Rolls Royce. I would 100,000% pick him as my number one pick over again.
All right, we'll go
You go this one, 2002.
2002, Brendan Goddard. I'd say an absolute legend at the Saints. Another hard man and unlucky to have a flag. Who could forget his beautiful hanger in the 2010 grand final?
And the chest pump after too, when he kicked the
Yeah.
goal.
He was. Let's go to his stats quickly. Only a two-time All Australian, but that's massive. But he also was a best and fairest in 2013.
He's
I
got one of
believe
the smallest out of all the like guys that actually got accolades. This is one of the smallest lists, which I was shocked about. I
that
really thought.
2013 he would have been with Bombers, wouldn't he?
I think that was at Bomberland. Yeah, like might have been his first year that he actually went there as well. I think. Um, I loved him at the Bombers. We obviously got him over to try and hit our mature age threshold, and everyone, well, not everyone knows this, but the year we actually sort of started getting investigated and done for the drug saga, that Bombers team was 9-1, and we were absolutely flying. And then they started the investigation, and we started getting some soft tissue injuries around that stage, and we obviously sort of fell down the ladder in the end. But we had a
He was in
super
his
young side.
he was in his prime
We had
still when he went.
himself, Job Watson, but then young guys like Melksham was young, Hurley was young, Heppel was
Monfries.
young, Monfries was good, Paddy Ryder was good, Hill. Like we had a Stanton,
You say
Zaharakis,
you say Heppel?
Heppel. Heppel was a young gun in that team. I did say his
I,
name. So we actually
He
had like a good up and coming side, and we just obviously got absolutely fucked by the drug saga.
that
And
that saga, yeah. Who knows what that could have happened? Because yeah, obviously the whole shit they got tested on, they now use today. So
yeah, yeah, it ended up
that,
apparently the drug was it just allowed healthier blood to cycle through your body so that you recovered quicker.
yeah,
And now it's like a supplement that they take globally. So,
yeah,
very frustrating as a Bombers fan. But I love Brendan Goddard. I'm shocked at his accolade list. I thought it would be a lot longer. We didn't give out his 334 games,
oh yeah,
160 goals,
that is really good.
373 coaches awards, and 77 Brownlow votes. So a very very good career. I think you'd have to
Definitely,
absolutely take him number one again.
absolutely. Um, I might as well go back to back.
Yep.
2003, uh, Western Bulldogs draft Adam Cooney from Flagstaff Hill, West Adelaide. Um, Surprisingly, I'll just quickly go through his games. So 200 and what's that? 50 games. Uh, my whole thing stuff. Yeah, 250 games. Absolute weapon for Dogs and bloody what was it? Essendon.
Yep.
I'm just
Yep.
my whole screen just buggered up then.
Well, yeah. So
Where am I?
he came to the Bombers during the drug saga actually. So and helped us out,
I'm
but
sorry.
put in a good couple
Oh
of
yeah.
years there in the end. Um,
Yeah, he was an elite player. I'll quickly say his award. Sorry, everyone. I just completely muffled up my phone. But only one time All Australian. In that same year, he was a Brownlow medalist, the only number one pick to actually get the Brownlow.
which is a crazy
Uh,
stat.
I'm guessing that AFL CA is the Coaches Award, is it?
Yes, yep, that is the coaches award. So
So, what,
you're getting a lot of
2005?
votes in that, then you're a gun. I actually hold the coaches award at a very high standard personally.
Oh, an AFL level. Not,
Yeah. Oh,
and then he
nowhere
was
else.
one time in the All Australian 40 squad. I reckon he was, even though he won a Brownlow, like there's if he should have won it, but very underrated. Like he was a ball getter. Like maybe he didn't. Sounds rough. Like did he deserve the Brownlow or not? Because that was the year Richo was it Richo?
Yeah, Richo. Well, Richo apparently was the betting favourite, and then barely polled a vote. Like they all thought he'd had such a good season, he barely actually got a vote. So, bit of a weird sort of Brownlow in the end. But look, I've actually got this draft up on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
There's really no one else that you would have gone, oh, damn, wish we took this guy instead. Listen to some of these names. So, Andrew Walker was selected number two, went to Carlton,
Yeah.
who had a pretty good career. David Mundy was picked 19, good pick.
Oh, Monday.
Eamon Buchanan, who had a good career with Sydney, he was pick 45. Heath Shaw was pick 48. And an absolute steal who had a really good career, pick 55, Sam Fisher. But other than that, I'm looking at the rest of this draft. It's pretty dim. Like
It
Brent
is.
Stanton's a good pick for us. Other than that, like fucking Raph Clark and Colin Sylvia. Colin Sylvia was good on AFL Premiership, but that was about it.
Yeah, it is crazy to see that out of all these number one picks, he's the only Brownlow medalist. That still blows my mind.
Mm.
See all these names. Would be interesting if we could find a stat which pick actually has the most Brownlows.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like if
cause,
there's actually a theme, like you know what is interesting is a lot of the time pick two and threes are always like guns.
mm,
So
definitely.
yeah, interesting. But I don't know. Looking at the actual list, yeah, I suppose you'd actually would take him as your number one pick again. You've got a
Yeah,
Brownlow, you've got a BNF, and you've got two All Australians. He was
I
obviously good
think you
enough.
would. Yeah,
Sorry, an All Australian, a Brownlow, and All Australian 40-man squad. So he had that sort of prime of 3 to 4 seasons before he got all those injuries. But yeah, he was good.
Yeah. All right. Would you like to do the next one after
I can do this
I've
now.
stuffed up the next?
That's all right. 2004, Brett Deledio was picked by Richmond. Played 275 games, 197 goals, 408 coaches' votes, and 78 Brownlow votes. He was an All-Australian in 12 and 15. He won the Rising Star that year, which was crazy because I'll give you some of the names in the '04 draft and you won't believe
Yeah.
it. Best and fairest in 2008-9. AFL Players Association in 2005, and he made the 40-man squad 3 more times in 8, 10 and 11. If this would be the first time that I'd say no, I would absolutely not pick him with my number one pick again. Um,
Tell us the draft class.
this is a super draft. You've got Jared Ruffhead went number 2. You've got Ryan Griffin went number 3. You've got Lance Franklin at 5. Jordan Lewis at 7. Obviously not a bad player until all his injuries, but Richard Tambling went 4. Angus Monfries at 14. Where else? Nathan Van Berlo, who ended up captaining the Crows for a while, he went pick 24. Anyone else? Mark LaCroix had a good career at 37. Travis Cloak had a good career at 39. Nathan Ablett went as a father-son at pick 48. So
Yeah, that's
pretty
good.
pretty strong class in the end. Surely, looking at those names, you'd have to say you'd absolutely take Buddy Franklin at pick
Yeah,
1 if you could.
I think you'd probably almost go Buddy, Roughhead, Lewis.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they ended up obviously having the illustrious careers that they did, but like far out, they're all actually guns.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would absolutely just be picking Buddy with my number one instead of. And he actually got stitched up a bit in the end, Deledio, didn't he? 2017, he ended up going to GWS to try and win a flag, and that year Richmond won the flag. So up yours, mate.
loses
Apparently
to them
that
in the
haunts him.
prelim,
Yeah,
and then he done his calf in the other prelim when they made it.
yeah. So brutal for Deledio. Never got to step foot in a grand final field.
Yes, so sucks to suck sometimes.
All right, we just do 2 in a row? So I'll do Mark
Yeah.
Murphy.
I reckon. Yep.
Carlton, 2005. I exposed it, but it was Mark Murphy. 300 games on the dot. Was really nice when Carlton did that for him. 197 goals. 484 coaches' votes and 114 Brownlow votes. All Australian in 2011. Coaches Association 2011. BNF twice, 2011 and 17, so had a very good year that year, 2011. Players Association, he won in 2006, and then an All-Australian 40-man squad in 2009. So, pretty good career. Trying to think if there's anyone else in that draft. This is also a very, very good draft. So, Mark Murphy just must have been an insane junior. Can I give you some names here?
Yeah, go for it.
Dale Thomas, pick 2. Xavier Ellis, pick 3. Josh Kennedy, pick 4. Pendlebury, pick 5. Paddy Ryder, pick 7. Sean Higgins, pick 11. Shannon Hearn, pick 13. Grant Birchall, 14. Travis Farco, 15. There's fucking 3 back-to-back picks that were very good. Big Matt Spanger, pick 34. Matty Stokes, all the way in pick 61.
Yeah,
Alapade
that's
Carlisle, pick 44. He was a good player for Port for a long time. Richard Douglas, pick 16. Nathan Jones, pick 12. A few names that I missed.
There's some big names. Obviously, Pendles would have to go the number 1, you'd think.
I think based off all that, Daisy or Pendles, like Daisy had a good career, just didn't go as long. He started getting injuries, but for sheer longevity, knowing what you know now, you'd have to pick Scott Pendlebury, wouldn't you?
No, 100%.
Mark Murphy was a gun, just the poor bloke never got fucking in good sides.
Yeah, 100%. Same for the next 2 guys. Also, Carlton, 2006. Bryce Gibbs played 268 games, 152 goals, 382 club votes, and don't tell me this fucking. Oh yeah, there we go. And 89 Brownlow votes. He was a 2014 Best and Fairest, 2021 McGarry medalist, and All Australian 40 squad in 2014, and a 2024 losing grand finalist in the GSFL for Victor Harbour. Have you muted? I still can't hear you.
I think my
There
mute
we
button's
go.
going broken, but I'm back.
We got
back.
him. Even
I was
when
just
dropped
saying.
a good zinger.
No, I wasn't exposing anyone, so that's lucky. But
Yeah.
we obviously
say-
played a few years at Victor. We were shit
did.
sides, but
Yeah.
80% of the side that we played with still ended up making that grand final side. Bad luck
Absolutely.
there, lost though.
They'll be back this year. Just a quick heads up for anyone that's listening and doesn't know too much about footy. The McGarry medal is pretty much the best and fairest of the amateur league and the SANFL.
Correct. And he went back to South Adelaide after he got let go by the Crows and won the basically SANFL's version of the Brownlow. So SANFL pretty much gets regarded as the second best comp outside of the AFL, would you say? We seem to beat the VFL continuously.
I think we lost this year.
We lost this year, but
But
usually it widely gets regarded as the second best comp outside of the AFL.
I think you would make the SFL a better comp only because the Queensland League and the VFL merged, I reckon. I reckon that's what makes it better because it's so big and broad now. It's just too many
The
teams.
VFL this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a fair call, which is probably why it shifted back to that the VFL beat the SANFL.
There's more variety of players to pick for your stateside. Nothing against the Waffle Boys either. They're some tough nuggets, I'll tell you that. But back to Bryce Gibbs, brilliant player. I think he could have played on a lot longer. He was playing great footy for the Crows. Were there rumours of a gambling addiction?
I think that was the main reason why, one, he had to get out of Victoria and Carlton, and then in the end it sort of deterred him even at the Crows. Like, I think it was very, very bad, and he had to sort of... The clubs didn't want him around because of certain people who would bring around, is what I am led to believe, but it could all be fucking lies for all we know.
A bunch of
But I think that was the rumour along the grapevines.
Yeah.
But I'm having a look here. I think there's only one name that to me would beat Bryce Gibbs to that number one spot, and that is a young Joel Selwood went pick number 7.
Definitely
now the only thing,
Selwood.
the only thing there is I know for a fact that Joel Selwood as a junior barely played his 2 draft years because he had bad ankles. Kept doing his ankle, so it was a bit of a risk for Geelong to take him at 7, but all of a sudden it's like that Steph Curry where that people were unsure on Steph because of how bad his ankles were, and then obviously the career that he had. So knowing that in hindsight, the career that he had, you'd pick Joel Selwood, but definitely at the time you can tell why he slipped down the draft a little bit.
Yeah.
The other noticeable names, you had Josh Kennedy, the Hawthorn Sydney one, Tom Hawkins, and Basher Hawley all went pick 40, 41 and 42.
Basher, another great legend.
So a few good names there. Any other sort of notable names? Sean Grigg had a decent career at Carlton. Jack Rewalt was pick 13. Travis Boak was pick 5. And Nathan Brown went to Collingwood. And he also played for the Saints as well, a bit of a nugget. He had a pretty decent career as well.
Yeah. I'll go into the next one. So Carlton must have been shit because they went back to back to back with
Yeah,
draft picks.
they were terrible.
So we got Matty Cruiser. He played 189 games, 94 goals. He was a backman though, wasn't he?
No, Ruckman. He was their Ruckman.
Oh, Ruckman. 140 coaches' votes and 27 Brownlow votes. He only real achievement was the 40 squad All Australian 2017. He was a bloke I always saw and I was like, fuck this guy. He goes hard. Like, I'm not gonna. Yes, he was a number one pick, but God, Carlton was shit back then.
Yeah, they were fucking woeful.
And I'll go with Kane Corns here. I heard him say this yesterday. Don't go into a draft picking a ruckman.
Yeah, I think if the Ruck's the best player in the draft, so you think it's a bit of an issue. I think at the stage, though, Carlton did need a big. Like, they'd gone Mark Murphy and Gibbs the past 2 years as their midfielders, so they probably just thought they needed a ruckman at that stage. But, yeah I've got some names here for you.
Alright, who was the 2007?
Trent Cotchin went 2.
Ooh.
Chris Maston went 3. Jared Grant, microphone head, went pick 5. David Myers went to the Bombers at pick 6. Ben McAvoy, pick 9. Patrick Dangerfield, pick 10. Cyril, pick 12. Harry Taylor, pick 17. Alex Rance, pick 18. Brad Ebert, pick 13. Callan Ward, pick 19. Scott Selwood, 22. Who else? Scott Thompson, pick 37. He was the one that got in a headlock, not my Scott Thompson.
No, yeah.
Stewie Dew picked up at pick 45.
You would almost put Danger or Cyril as number 1.
Yeah, well, Cyril probably just retired early due to everything that was going on at Hawthorn at the time. So
dramas and family issues, but
well, other than that, you'd have to say Patrick Dangerfield, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you want longevity, because we obviously don't know, because Cyril did have the hamstring problems, but Danger is still kicking to this day, and he's achieved it all.
He, Danger at the moment would probably be in the All-Australian 40-man squad as a high half forward. Like, he's been unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you'd probably have to pick him as your number 1. Harry Taylor was a fucking gun, and obviously Alex Rance was bloody good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to say Paddy Dangerfield I would redraft over our man Matthew Cruiser. Now, is it my turn in 2008?
Yes, the year Obama was elected.
Rise up. No. Maybe the worst. Well, actually, looking at some of these names, maybe the worst. Maybe the worst number 1 pick in the history of AFL.
There's going to be a certain stage where we can't really judge these players.
This is probably one of them, actually, because I think he just went to the most horrific club at the time. 2008, Melbourne select Jack Watts. 174 games in the end, 161 goals, 90 coaches' votes, and 15 Brownlow votes he was still able to muster. It's 15 more than I'll ever get.
I did watch a thing on him, I think after he went to Port. And
just quickly, no accolades. The first one in this list so far with no accolades.
Yeah, I think I watched something on him after he retired, and him talking about the pressure he had playing at Melbourne at this stage. Because imagine this, I'm guessing 18 years old, coming to Melbourne, one of the oldest clubs, but this club is literally dog shit.
Well, if I remember correctly, now at the stage, I obviously watched him a lot more when I was 14, 15, but he was drafted when I was 9. I'm pretty sure he was touted like a Harley Reid, like just going to be this next big thing, just a gun, just one of the best juniors anyone had ever seen, and just went into such a horrible club, and they wanted him to be literally the best backman, best mid, best forward, and yeah, I think you're right. I think, like you said, just too much pressure in the end.
And I think
Too
his
much
body
pressure in the
started
end.
breaking down on him as well.
Yeah, he started to get injuries and all that sort of stuff, and sort of couldn't sustain it. But he had that Oktoberfest issue with the schnuz or whatever it was, the white
Oh
powder.
yeah,
So
Devil's Dandruff.
the devil's dandruff. So all sorts of issues for the number one draft pick. Let's have a look at the 2008 draft. Would have we changed anything though, and
I'm sure
actually
there's
taken other
someone in
ones?
there that
Oh,
you could
yeah,
have
no,
taken.
absolutely would take someone else. I'll give you some of these names. You'll shit the bed.
Alright,
Guess who went number two?
hold up. Don't. 2008, 2008.
Think of that time.
Dusty. No, Dusty was 2010. Who
Tall,
was before? Oh, I cannot think. Sorry.
one of the most athletic people to ever grace the field.
athletic people. You're looking at it. No.
Nick Naitanui
Whole yeah.
went pick
That
two.
could that
Hamish
could have
Hartlett pick
changed.
four. Michael Hurley pick five. Chris Yarran pick six. Daniel Rich pick seven. Jack
Chris
Siebel
Yarran.
pick nine. Phil Davis pick 10. Steele Sidebottom pick 11. Ryan Schoenmakers pick 16. Any other good names? Dane Beams was a good player, 29. Dan Hannery, 30.
I think you'd have to
Rory
raise
Sloan
the
pick 44. Mitch Robinson pick 40.
Steele would have to
Uh,
be the number one, you'd think.
Michael Walters pick 53.
Oh,
That's a good steal. Oh, Lee Brown was a good player for a little while, pick 73. Yeah, fuck. I think you'd have to pick either Nick Naitanui or you would pick Steele Sidebottom over
yeah,
Jack Watts. I think based off longevity and sort of injury luck and all that, you'd say Sidebottom again for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. You
Uh,
got '09 as well.
I'll double it up. I'll go number nine. The running machine, Tom Scully, was picked by Melbourne again. That was a priority pick this time to try and help him out. He ended up with 187 games, 89 goals, 98 coaches' votes, and 23 Brownlow votes. I only made the All-Australian 40-man squad in 16 and 17. Obviously, by then, I think he was on those Giants sides.
Yeah, I think that's where
Uh,
he played his best footy.
he played his best footy there when they were obviously a better team, and he was just a running machine. I remember just looking at his kilometres in the AFL app, and he broke all the records for all the running. He was just everywhere.
He went to
Um,
Collingwood as well, didn't he?
did he?
He went to 3 clubs, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh, I'd have to check on that. I thought he was definitely just Melbourne or GWS.
I thought he
Let's
went
have a
to a
look here.
third club.
Close. It was actually Hawthorn,
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, my bad.
and he
And he
had.
went.
I think he snapped his Achilles playing for
I think.
Hawks, and that was it.
Yeah, I think that was definitely it.
Played a large
Yeah.
chunk at GWS though. GWS was somehow able to get him after only 2 seasons at Melbourne.
I don't care what people say. I was a fan of watching Tom Scully as a kid. He was a ball collector. He was a magnet.
Yeah, and yeah, like we said, running machine. I actually really rated him as a player, but you were 1 year off, and I reckon we'd pick this guy as our. Oh, actually, this is a good draft. I'll give you three names. Give you three names, and then you pick which one you would have taken number one.
Alright.
Dustin Martin,
Oh, yeah.
pick 3. Nat 5, pick 20. Max Gawn, pick 34.
Um,
Now, Dustin Martin, obviously the highest peak. I reckon Nat 5 through that sort of 2013, 14, 15, 16 sort of era.
I think I'd have to keep him in that order. Dusty, Fife, and Gorn.
Mm.
Only
Yeah.
because, yeah, Dusty's prime was something else, but so was Fife's.
So what do we got? You've got Tom Scully, just an All-Australian 40-man squad in 16, 17. Let's listen to Dusty Martin three-time premiership player, three-time Norm Smith, a Brownlow medalist, uh, champion player of the year, the Coaches Association, four-time All-Australian, three times Gary Ayres, two times Jack Dyer, which is Richmond best and fairest, and he won the Rising Star that year as well. Just a fucking weapon.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to pick Dusty Martin as your number one pick
Easily
in 2009.
Dusty.
Do you want to do 2010?
Yes, 2010. The Gold Coast Suns. I think this was their first ever pick.
It was.
Enter the league. David Swallow. He played 243 games, kicked 111 goals. Sorry, he got 184 coaches' votes, 25 Brownlow votes, and he only had the one best and fairest in 2014. Most likely because he had the greatest player of all time on his team.
Gold Coast had the
almost-
first three picks in the draft.
Who were the next two picks?
So they picked Harley Bennell pick 2 and Sam Days pick 3.
Harley Bennell is a big what if. I've heard stories of he was better than anyone that they'd ever seen. He was just so stupid in decisions. He would just...
Couldn't get his body right either.
His body, yes, was injured, but it was the off-field stuff, which was another thing. I don't think his family on the outside done him any justice. I reckon they would have fed off him.
Yep.
But he's one of the greatest what-ifs in the AFL, I reckon.
Because he sort of showed it a little bit. Who'd he go to? Was it West Coast or Freo for a little bit?
Oh,
He just lighted up, but
Yeah.
he just a gun. Just couldn't get his body right and too many off-field issues. This was also not a bad draft. I'd be very interested to see who you end up picking as your number one. I'll start as a real... Whoa. Paul Puopolo, pick 66.
Polopolo, the man.
Puopolo. You had Tom Liberatore was a father-son, but at pick 41. Luke Parker, pick 40. Jeremy Howe, who's playing tonight, pick 33. Scotty Lysette was 29. Jack Darling, good pick, 26. Isaac Smith was pick 19. Or Brodie Smith was pick 14. Dan Gorringe pick 10. Tommy Lynch went pick 11. Dion Prestia went pick 9. Dyson Heppel was 8. Josh Caddy was 7. Andrew Gaff pick 4.
I'd probably almost have Luke Parker.
I'd probably go Dyson Heppel, I reckon. That could be a bit biased of me.
The only reason Luke Parker 2016 was the runner-up in the Brownlow.
Probably had the highest peak, didn't he, out of all those guys?
Yeah.
Andrew Gaff was a bit of a machine for a little while there. West Coast did well with their pick, considering they were technically the worst side, and they had to wait till pick 4. So they actually didn't do too bad there. Would you keep David Swallow as your first pick? Or would you take Parker, knowing what you know?
Knowing what I know now, I'd take Parker. Swallow was a good player, but he never made you go, ooh,
Yeah,
stay away from him.
yeah. I think I'd go Dyson Heppel. Probably a bit biased, but I think I'd go Dyson Heppel.
Alright.
2011. My turn.
GWS enters the league.
No, it's yours.
Oh, yeah, it's my
GWS
turn.
entered the league.
Oh, big Jono Patton. What a man. He played 95 games, 133 goals, 56 coaches' votes, and he got 11 Brownlow votes, and I guess you could say his only award was sleeping with 100 plus women.
Oh my god, knowing that he just came out and said that so openly, like it was fucking the best thing since sliced bread, just pretty much
The birthday
sums him
cake
up.
incident.
Oh my god.
Alright, we might as well say it. If you're not listening, Big Jono must have been Big Jono in the bed sheets, because He was with number 100, but little did she know he had planned a little surprise in the fridge, and I believe he celebrated after the session with a cake.
He got it out, warmed it up, and brought it to her and tried to make her feel special by going, "Thank you, you're my number 100." And I think she nearly threw up and walked out of the house straight away.
This lad was riddled with ACLs, I'm pretty sure,
Yep,
which
yep. Did his knee a
might
couple
have
of times.
derailed him.
He
So what
did
you want,
look like he was going to be a gun.
he was dominant, but I think those ACLs, I think what was it, two or three of them? Not
So 95 games, 133 goals, 56 coaches' votes, and 11 Brownlows. So he obviously had some good games scattered in there. I'll give
when
you
he
some
was good,
names.
he was good.
Yeah, when he was on and healthy, he looked like he could be anything. But I think his body just let him down in the end.
Yeah.
But here's some other names now. Greater Western Sydney. How's this? They had pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. So
They
only
had the
one,
whole draft
two,
class.
only two picks that were not theirs in the pick that up until pick 13. So Toby Green was a part of that.
He just
Taylor
played his
Adams was a
250th.
part of that. Chad Wingard, good snag from Port. That was their first pick, and they were able to get Wingard. Will Hoskin Elliott was a part of that. Stephen Caniglio picked 2. Smith, Tom Mitchell from Sydney, and now at Collingwood, obviously, picked 21. Who else is really... GWS snagged all the good guys. Oh, Mitch Grigg, he did get picked by Adelaide from Norwood. Now Athelston picked 41. Tory Dixon picked 57. He had a good... Oh, no, here you go. Here's your steal of the draft and probably one of the best players in the draft. I didn't know this. Pick 58, Lockie Neal,
Holy,
Fremantle. How's a steal at that at 58?
that is probably the best 58th pick of all time.
Now, obviously, you'd have to say Lockie Neal, wouldn't you?
Easy. Two-time Brownlow medalist, premiership
Won the flag
player,
now.
best and fairest at both clubs. Just a legend. All
Yeah.
Australian.
I reckon with pick 2 again, you'd go Toby Green.
Yeah.
Would be my other
He's
pick there.
Toby Green's the greatest giant ever.
Yeah, I'd be happy to put him in that list now. Like Jeremy Cameron probably was going to be, but he left.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be pretty happy putting Toby Green as the best player. Oh, yeah, I'd be happy putting him as the best player, I reckon, for the Giants. What he's done for the club. All right, I've got this one. 2012,
2012.
the great Lockie Whitfield, who would probably have to be the second best Giant, I feel.
Yep. He's definitely around.
245 games and still playing. Still looks like he's got a few good years left in him. 71 goals, 305 coaches' votes so far, and 65 Brownlows. Two-time All-Australian in 2018 and last year in 2024. And he was best and fairest in 2018 and 2020. Probably was a bit stiff not to win last year's BNF for him, to be honest. He's a gun. I love Lockie Whitfield.
Reliable.
A taller, much more athletic version of myself, I'd like to think.
That's
Just
exactly what I was thinking.
Smooth operator off the halfback, but
That's
10 times the talent I've got.
Quick question. Obviously, yeah, don't worry, because I just saw his height. Yeah, 187 centimetres. He's definitely surely grown since that, being 18.
You'd be 190 now, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But, yeah, 187 and 75 kilos, that's pretty thin.
He's a light boy, but he holds his strength pretty well, but it's not like he's known for his tackling game or anything.
Yeah.
But like you do see some of these guys after a little while, they would tend to get a little bit exposed as a backman, but not him. He's too smart. Gets in the right positions all the time. I'll give you some names. In my opinion, he's probably still number 1. Joe Danaher went pick 10.
Yep.
Nick Vlaston went pick 9. He's had a good career. Jack McRae pick 6. Jake Stringer pick 5. Let's have a look who else. Brody Grundy went pick 18. That's not a bad little pick. Ben Kennedy, our man, pick 19. Jack Viney, good pick 26.
Yeah.
Those sort of builds tend to go later in the draft, don't they? I know 26 and 58 are far apart, but like that Lockie Neal, Jack Viney, small, big-bodied mid,
Yeah. Country boys.
they probably just get a bit worried about them at AFL level conditioning-wise, but both of them have fucking been absolute guns.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, really, out of that sort of
Yeah,
list.
I reckon these last few ones will be a bit quicker because their careers are still going.
Yeah, exactly right. And we're still watching them play. So, I'd take Lockie Whitfield again
Yeah, I'd
if I
take
was
him.
them.
Definitely.
Uh, Sweet. We'll move on to 2013. GWS again. Tom Boyd, 61 games, 50 goals, one coach's vote, um, no Brownlow votes, but obviously the heroics in the 2016 grand final for
Oh.
Western
Boyd's kick
Bulldogs.
to go. Boyd's kick to go.
Fuck!
Fuck.
I don't believe it. So,
His biggest flaw was just, I think, his mental state, which there's nothing wrong with that. He's doing well now. He was an unreal player. He's also just a big what if. It was just he had demons, sadly, and we're lucky he's still with us, but he just needed to step away from the game.
well, he looks like he's eating on a good paddock. I'll tell you that much
Oh,
for free.
definitely.
He's a big boy, old Tommy.
He's always full.
Yeah,
Looks at it
definitely,
now.
definitely. So, um, hopefully not depressed. Hopefully not depressed eating, but he looks comfy that big, and he speaks well. He did a really good talk. Was it for Spud's game? I reckon it was, and yeah, he spoke beautifully. So I'm glad that he's doing well now. I think him being the number one pick was justified with his performance in that grand final. If it wasn't for Joe Hannison turning into a demigod off the halfback, he probably would have got himself a Norm Smith as well, Tommy Boyd.
Oh, 100%.
I'll give you some other names though, because there's someone at pick 4 that I reckon probably deserves to be the number one pick. But Josh Kelly too, having a great career.
Yeah.
The great Marcus Bontempelli, pick 4 to the Bulldogs. I'd have to say he'd be clearly my number one.
think.
Another one, a good one though, that would be my second pick, Patrick Cripps. He went at pick 13. Dom
Yeah, Cripps
Sheed,
would be-
pick 11.
Cripps would be my second because Bont should have 2 Brownlows.
Hang on, what's this? Pick 11, Dom Sheed, West Coast, traded from Collingwood in free agency.
Huge.
I'm going to have to do a rabbit hole look on that. Was that saying that that pick was West Coast, but Collingwood could have had that pick, and then Dom Sheed's the one that kicks the goal against them? Is that what I've just ended up sort of finding out?
Just those. What's the not butterfly effect? What's that thing when they say?
Yeah, butterfly effect when
Yeah,
one
that's it,
small
yeah.
event triggers another event.
Surely
I'm going to have to look into that, but that's what it says next to his name. Traded from Collingwood for free agency because it was a compensation pick. Yeah, so Collingwood got that pick for the Daisy Thomas trade to Carlton, and then they traded it to West Coast. I wonder who they traded it for, but then Dom Sheed... That's funny.
Surely there was someone that day in the office. When Dom Sheed kicked it, they just would have gone fuck, and someone goes,
Yeah.
obviously it's all right. Yeah, we'll bounce back from this, and they would have been like, no, and they go, what? We fucking drafted him.
Yeah, and we traded that to West Coast. That is unbelievable.
That needs to be a movie.
I've got some names here for you as well, though. Pick 26, Zach Merritt, who's probably Essendon's best player in the last sort of behind Joe Watson for the past 20 years. Lewis Taylor picked 28. Now, he won the Rookie of the Year that year. That's fucking
He was a
crazy.
Brisbane Lions man.
Yeah.
I remember watching him. He was our shining light in these years. To be honest with you,
James
uh,
Sicily picked 56.
but
Will Langford picked 71. Jeremy McGovern picked 74. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
now people do say that Lewis robbed Bont from his rising star, so Bont keeps just getting robbed from everything.
Yeah, the poor bloke. Surely he wins a Brownlow one year. Well,
No,
maybe not.
definitely. Well, he's
But
getting older, but he is having a good year this
mm,
year. All right,
how's
I'll
he?
quickly. Oh, you go.
So you skip through this one.
Um, 2014, St Kilda, Paddy McCartan. He played 64 games, 35 goals, 17 coaches' votes, 0 Brownlow votes. No achievements, but I think the biggest achievement is he was concussion prone, kept getting hit in the head a lot. Pretty much was retired until he got a lifeline thrown from Sydney. And 2022 he actually played in the grand final, which could have been an absolute fairy tale, but it wasn't meant to be. His body just let this bloke down.
Yep.
His head. Uh, People say, "Oh, he got out to look after his head." I think it's too late. He got too many concussions, and they weren't little bumps in the head; they were big ones. I'm not trying to be a downer. This lad will have CTE in the
Yeah,
future.
if he doesn't have it already, poor bloke. He was fucking heroic just to see him come back. But yeah, I think he's struggling big time, living day to day with all the concussions that he's had in the end. So hopefully he'll be okay. But
Yeah, with all the new medications and scans that they can do these days.
now
Like,
I've got a name that I reckon would just go number one instead of him, and it would be the guy who went number two, Christian Petrarca. You'd probably
yep,
going back, you'd
just
pick him as your number
played
one.
250, was it? Or
I
200?
believe so. I believe so. I think
He hit a
200.
milestone. Hit a milestone this week.
Yeah, 200
the
games,
great,
you're right.
the greatest cook in the AFL. Love his channel on
Yeah.
TikTok. But yeah, he would have easily gone number one. I'll skip to 2015. Carlton again. Jacob Wiedering. I like this lad. He's 192 games, 11 goals. He is a backman. 144 coaches' votes, but only the 9 Brownlow votes, which surprises me. But he has been getting thrashed his whole life.
Fullback. Fullback, it's just hard, I
It's a
suppose.
tough gig. Yeah,
Very
that's
tough
it.
gig.
Brownlow is a midfielder's award. He's a one-time All-Australian, two-time best and fairest, and a four-time All-Australian 40 squad, which I think is a great achievement for a fullback.
Yeah, I fucking love this guy. I remember at school, this was back to back years actually. Actually, no, 3 years in a row. You were able to watch, like, NAB were putting together highlight packages of all the guys, and you could keep an eye on sort of how they were going each week. So I used to sit there and watch all of the like for Christian Petrarca. I just thought he was going to be a gun. When I watched all the Jacob Wiedering, sort of highlights, I just thought this guy's just going to be a brick wall, and he's just turned into that for Carlton. I swear Carlton would be continuously still down in the bottom 8 if it wasn't for Jacob Wiedering. He just sort of keeps them in games half the time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I would now there's some good names in this draft. I'll go through a few with you, but I would absolutely be picking this guy again as my number one pick. I'd have no doubt about it. I'll still throw you some names just in case, but Clayton Oliver went pick 4. Darcy Parish went pick 5. Now we fucked up here. Listen to this. Darcy Parish and Aaron Francis, Essendon picked in the end. We missed out on the likes of Charlie Curnow, pick 12. Interesting. Eric Hipwood was in this draft. He never came along. Braden Fiorini's been alright for Gold Coast, pick 20. Ben Mackay went 21. Ben Keys went to Brisbane at pick 24. the one we fucked up, Josh Dunkley, pick 25.
Yeah.
Um, he's a very very good player as well. Mason Redmond though we picked up with pick 30.
The
Uh,
thing is, Carlton was probably looking for a key defender,
oh yeah, Carlton needed
and
him. He was the
and he
number
was.
one pick in the draft by a mile.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone that. No, there's great players, obviously, because they're midfielders, forwards, but Wiedering, definitely.
Yeah, I'd be picking Wiedering all the time again. Now I'll say this one because this one hurts me. 2016, Essendon, Andrew McGrath. 178 centimetres and 78 kilos. He's basically my size. 167 games, 20 goals, 124 coaches' votes, and 13 Brownlow votes. He did win the Rising Star that year and got the Players Association first year player. Um,
He
Look,
hasn't blossomed into the player everyone's expected.
I'll put it into perspective. Last night, a certain someone who was pick 3 had 41 touches and was clearly best on ground and is an elite midfielder with Dunkley and Neil in Hugh McCluggage. And that is the exact type of player you want to pick with your number one pick. Andrew McGrath has become a lockdown back pocket as our number one pick. So we finally get our number one pick after all the issues with the drug saga. Now we've got him now, but Will Setterfield went pick 5. They're the types of big-bodied or game-breaking Hugh McCluggage types that you need to be picking.
Yeah.
Andrew McGrath does my fucking head in with the amount of times he turns the ball over, that man.
All I can say about 2016 was my senior year in high school, and I remember me and my mate Thomas Tholborn used to just go up to each other because there was an ad on Fox, and they used to be like, McCluggage. How good does that sound? McCluggage.
Yeah.
He hadn't even been drafted yet, I don't think, and we just got lucky enough to get him.
Yeah, he's a weapon. I love Hugh McCluggage and wish I got him in my fantasy a few weeks earlier personally, but neither here nor there. 2017. You better say this. This is your boys.
Yes, my Brisbane Lions. Pick 1 goes to Cam Rayner. What a fucking legend. 151 games and 145 goals. He has 58 coaches' votes and 17 Brownlow votes. He's a one-time All-Australian 40 squad member, premiership player, and a fucking saviour in the prelim that year. He has come a long way for someone that done his ACL, I think it was a year before. He was iffy. I thought he would just be one of these great number one picks, like some people we've said, good but just not good enough. He proved that last year that he's big stage, big hips, big legs. He's strong in that midfield and he's elite in that half forward strolling out. It sets up our small forwards and Archie and Cameron. He's an absolute fucking weapon.
Yeah, I still don't think he's probably sort of still touted as who you would have as your number one pick, but he's turned into a very, very solid player, and like Fags has just got his role down to a T.
Yeah, he's
so,
a good role player.
He's a great role player. Do you want your number one pick to be a great role player? Probably not.
Nah.
But the only other person in this list that I can see that would actually be deserving was who went pick 2 and was Andy Brayshaw. So, other than that, like your boys at Brisbane have not made a wrong pick here.
I'd say the only difference with the reason why you'd almost say Cam Rayner, you'd almost say it's a different story if he doesn't have that premiership.
Different story if he doesn't have the premiership, but like you said, he paid that back in spades in that prelim. That's on his opposite foot. He just went on his left foot and went fucking whack. So yeah, he's a gun. Glorified role player but you'd rather that as you pick one than what we've sort of had with Andy McGrath in the end. But that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, 2018. We're near the end.
Am I doing this one?
I'll do it.
20. Oh, yeah.
Sammy Walsh from Carlton. So far, 130 games. He's polled a massive 315 coaches' votes and already 79 Brownlow votes, which is not been even touched since Bryce Gibbs had 89 in 2006, and Sammy Walsh obviously has another 150 games to go
He's got the
um,
thickest accolades
so
of this
far, and
list.
it's going to keep growing. All Australian in 21. He was a rising star in 2019. Best and fairest in 21. Gary Ayres medalist in 23. Coaches Association Best Young Player in 2020. Players Association for a first year in 2019. And then the 40-man squad in 2022. He's a fucking weapon. Hopefully he can keep his body right.
Yeah, he does have the
Um,
back problems.
does have the back problems, and that's probably just because they try and play him as like a full-on inside mid. But
Yeah, you
if
got
they
to
can
carry
get
that.
if they can get some grunt in that Carlton midfield and put him outside, good man, he'll be just a weapon.
Absolutely. Yeah. We might as well keep squizzing through. We'll just go for player. 2019 Gold Coast, the Grass Eater, Matty Rao. 95 games, 28 goals, 213 coaches' votes, and 50 Brownlow votes. It doesn't say he's got any awards. He could have won the Brownlow in his first year, getting back to back to back 3 votes, so he popped his shoulder.
Yep.
Um, he will be an All Australian. He will win a best and fairest. He will win a premiership. I mark my words. He will. He just because he doesn't have no awards next to him means fuck all. This man's a weapon. The most
Now,
contested possessions, the most tackles on the team. He's a weapon.
there's only three other names that I can see here that would be suspected for pick one, and one of them is already at Gold Coast. So Noah Anderson was pick two, his running mate, because they went to high school together.
Yeah,
But other than that, Luke Jackson and Caleb Sarong. But they were pick three and pick eight. Very strong draft this is looking like.
yeah.
Lockie Ash
Geelong's
went
a
pick
freak.
four. Hayden Young went pick seven. Tom Green went at pick 10. Will Day at pick 13. It's a good draft. So, yeah, I reckon Matty Rao, that's a good number one pick. I'd retake him again. Because you don't know he's going to pop his shoulder. And like you said, he could have literally been the best player in the AFL in his first year.
Yeah, definitely.
2020, bit of a tough one here.
Sour taste in your mouth saying this name.
No one's liking this guy at the moment. Jamara Hagen was pick one in the 2020 draft. He might end up being, if he can't get a second chance somewhere, and he probably doesn't deserve it to be honest, but he will be the biggest bust out of all number one picks. So far, though, he has got 67 games to his name for 103 goals, 63 coaches' votes, and 10 Brownlow votes. Literally
Yeah,
looked
you
like
said
he
it.
was coming of age, and now he's just on a drug spiral, mental health spiral, and who knows where he's going to
Out
be.
of all the names, sorry, that you just said, this will be the biggest bust out of from the 2000s. We're not going to look past earlier, but he will be the biggest bust because you're looking at our Tom Boyd's, our Paddy McCartans, our John Pattons, Jack Watts. Injuries, man. Injuries. I don't care about how Boyd left early. He got a premiership. He's remembered for something historic. All these other boys that didn't really achieve got close to 100 or they had major injuries. No major injuries. Oh, yeah, there's probably something going on in his head, but if you're posting on Instagram,
Yeah, you're out
putting
having
out,
espresso martinis, and you're opening up a fucking acai place or whatever it is.
yeah,
Like,
that's stupid.
man, oh
This
man.
lad, in 3 years' time, he will not be in the AFL. He will be in the NTFL playing for one of those teams. I've got nothing against the NTFL, one of the greatest leagues in this country. The only reason I'm saying that is I believe he could be from there.
Mm.
That's my only speculation of why he's going to end up there because he's going to blow his opportunity to make good coin and make a name for his last name. But he's going to be at some local club racking up big bucks chest out
Yep.
thinking he's top shit when really he's the worst number one.
Yeah, but
pick
his
of all
big
time.
bucks is 1,500 a game. So if you times that by 20 odd, he's made 30 grand there, where he's on 800k this year, sitting around doing fuck all. So if he doesn't pull his head in, he'll piss that down the gutter pretty quick.
Just a quick question.
2021. Oh yeah, you go.
Um, say the dogs fuck him off and he gets a lifeline by another club. Who do you think is that lifeline? Like, this question is a team is going to pick him up. What team is it going to be? And it can't be the dogs.
Can't be the dogs. Yeah, obvious reasons they wouldn't take him. But based off needs, um, I would probably be taking a punt if I'm St Kilda. Doesn't I don't know. I don't think they trust King's body. Cooper Sharman, we just spoke about in the other pod, looks like he'll be a bit of a gun.
Yeah,
So if they can pair a Ugle Hagen with Cooper Sharman and then have Jack Higgins, who's almost winning the Coleman, but he's definitely an All-Australian forward pocket so far this year, that all of a sudden is a very good forward line to sort of go along with your Jack Steele, and if they can maybe keep Nasiah Wanganeen Malera, I think that's sort of the route I'd be going for. But other than that, I couldn't see any other team actually really needing him.
yeah.
Apart from maybe in North Melbourne, but fuck, doubt he'd go there.
Nah. I was thinking possibly Port Adelaide.
Yeah, they need a big forward, don't they? Especially if obviously what's his face has come back from an Achilles, but I don't really like him anyway. But if they can get him going with who's the young fella, Georgiadis, that would also be a good
Yeah.
twin towers up forward for Port, and
And
that
just
sort of goes
another
along
one
with their young
quickly.
core.
I don't want him on my side, but Brisbane. We're missing another big since
Since
Danaher's
Danaher.
disappeared. Our smalls have stepped up, but yeah.
You'd
Hipwood's
have
not
to
Danaher.
get him this year when you've got your Zorko, like as in the next off season.
Yeah.
Now Zorko might
So,
retire, but if you've got your Zorko, your Fags, your Lockie Neals, your Dunkleys, guys that can pull his head in.
yeah. And
But you're
Dunkley
saying
would be
that
good.
you're saying that he's coming from a Bevo, Bontempelli,
He's got a good
Trelaw.
culture, and
Yeah.
yeah. But nah, Ugle Hagen, if you ever hear this, fuck you.
We'll skim through the last four because they're only very young in their careers. 2021, Jason Horn-Francis, 75 games already, 55 goals, 131 coaches' votes and 35 Brownlow votes. He's going to be a weapon. He's going to have a long, long, long list of accolades. Has already made an All-Australian 40-man squad, made that last year. In the prelim against Sydney, he looked like the only one who gave a fuck. So he's going to have a fucking fantastic career. I would absolutely take him number one again if you were North
Yeah.
Melbourne. It just obviously
He's,
didn't work out.
his game is just a spitting image of Paddy Dangers.
Mm.
Just hard,
Probably
aggressive,
just can
100%.
kick the ball a bit better than
Yeah,
Paddy.
he's just every time he gets the ball, it's just 100%. Yeah, there was
Yeah,
dramas with North, but who cares? He left him. He's at
yeah,
Port, which I believe is a good system for him. He's home. He's got great players around him. They just need to get that structure up.
yep, absolutely. 2022 now. I like this pick from the Giants. It's probably what they needed, but it is Aaron Cadman from where was he originally from? North Ballarat under 18s, 46 games, 49 goals. Hasn't received a coach's vote or a Brownlow vote yet, but
Give it
everyone
time.
sort of knew that Nick Dacos was going to be father-son, so that's why he didn't get picked first. Sorry, that was Horn Francis's draft. This one was Will Ashcroft, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So everyone knew he was sort of going to go one if he was bidded on, so they didn't really want to waste it. They've gone with Aaron Cadman. I actually like the pick. I reckon he'll be a gun. If you really had to be nitty gritty, even though it was a father son, you'd absolutely pick Will Ashcroft first and then Harry Sheasel second. But GWS needed a big forward and they got him, and he'll be a player in years to come for sure.
absolutely. The next year, 2023, West Coast. The new Prince of Perth, Harley Reid. 31 games, 18 goals, 25 coaches' votes, 7 Brownlow votes, which is pretty good. He's got a AFLPA. What's that actually? Players Awards.
Let's have a look. Where are we? Yeah, so he was the Players Association Best First Year Player,
Oh yeah,
which is
pretty
pretty high
good.
standard by his peers.
Yeah,
Will be a gun. Will he stay in West Coast?
No.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I don't
No,
know
he's
where
got-
he's going to go. The Bombers are actually in a good spot to probably pick him, to be honest. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I just can't see him being at West Coast for too long. I don't think you'd pick anyone over the top of him, to be honest. Except for my boy, maybe, Nate Caddy. He looks like he could be
yeah.
fucking anything at centre forward, but he slipped all the way to 10, so only time will tell on that. But fuck, did
Yeah.
he play well
Big
against your
question
Lions?
mark on him. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I wouldn't say nothing wrong. He's aggressive at the footy and at players, which people do hate. I like seeing it. It just shows he's got a bit of mongrel in him. Maybe he goes a bit over the top, but it shows he cares. He's
Yeah.
not going to back down, which is what you want from a young
Yeah.
fella.
Yeah, it shows a bit of heart and a bit of grunt, and fuck, imagine him on a good side with his chest pumping. He'll be like a
Top.
Wayne Carey sort of style, sort of
Yeah.
chest out. I'm
That's it. Put
here.
him on a good side, it's game over.
Oh, absolutely.
Alright, would you like to finish us off before we pick our top 3?
Sammy Laylor. Now he's going to be a gun. He looks like a Dusty type, sort of high half forward, midfielder. Will kick goals. Will pull a lot of votes in his time. He's already got 3 coaches' votes, which is pretty cool. Yeah, he will be a gun. I reckon Sammy Laylor. I'd absolutely pick him with your number 1 pick again. But there's a few good names in that draft as well, so it'll be interesting to sort of follow their careers and come back in 20 years' time and see where they all ended up. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I'd take Sammy Laylor again for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to go your 3, 2, 1? Who would you pick? Who would be your third best pick one of all time?
Third best.
They can still be playing.
My top 2 are pretty much cemented. Nah, I'm gonna make sure they're retired. I'd have to go pick number 3. I'd go Goddard.
Yep, number 3 is Goddard.
Pick 3. I know he didn't have the accolades, but watching him look like he just was. Oh, he's just a great player. I
Yeah,
just thought he was a bit foreshadowed because he was also in a great Saints side, but he also got foreshadowed because of the dramas at Essendon.
yeah, exactly. And probably not the career that he would have obviously had in mind for himself, but he was a fucking unit. Stood up, could play centre half back, could play on ball. Like, yeah, he was a guy that would just shift the momentum in his favour. I felt like just such a weapon. Who would you have as your number 2? Pick 1.
I'd go Rewalt, Nick Rewalt.
Yep. So do you reckon it would be Nick Rewalt and then Luke Hodge?
Yeah, Hodgie'd be my number 1 because he led his team to. Oh,
Led his team to a three-peat, which hasn't been done in the AFL
yeah, a
since.
3-peat as a captain.
Yeah.
Went to 4 straight, played in 5. And not only that, he was a 2-time Norm Smith, so he showed up on the day. I think that if you're number 1 pick and you lead your team to a grand final, that's good enough, but he done it 4 times and won it 3 times.
Yep.
And also
I think
has
it-
the 08 one.
I think I'm pretty happy keeping my 2 and 1 exactly as the same as yours. I think the only thing is my number 3. I'm tossing up Lockie Whitfield or Jacob Wiedering. I
Yeah.
think when it's all said and done, if there's going to be a premiership like fullback that people remember, it would be like a Jacob Wiedering type. It's probably a bit of a selfish way as well because the Bombers have been absolutely just screaming out for a big-bodied fullback for years. That maybe
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, fuck, wouldn't it have been nice if we've just had Jacob Wiedering as our pillar back there for a while?
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's going to have a long, long list of accolades, Jacob Wiedering, when it's all said and done. I might make him my 3rd.
I like it.
Well, that was good in the end. Got an hour 14.
Yeah.
But thank you
Decent
all for
trip.
listening.
All
We
good.
should do another. We should be able to do another sort of different topic one before we get back to a sport one again.
I think so.
So, no, thank you all for listening. Leave some comments below. Surely we can get some comments on who people think was a good number one pick and who was their bust. Number one bust? Who would you have as your number one bust? You'd have to say John Patton.
Yeah. I won't say Hugo Hagen just yet. I'd say John Patton.
But Hugo Hagen's roaring behind because he would actually
Yeah.
have the bill of health, and then threw it away for no reason. Where John Patton probably got a little bit. Can't really blame him for all his concussions. So, but yeah. All right,
Sweet.
thank you, folks.
Easy.
Peace.